I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we gather today in your name and pledge to continue service above self as Rotarians. We pray for our scouts and what they do today as they become leaders of tomorrow. We ask for prayers for the family of past Rotarian District Governor and District 6540 Grants Chair Mike Craybill, who passed away on July 30th. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. Welcome. It looks like Boy Scout Day. Glad to have all of you in uniform here, and those of you that are sponsors that are not in uniform, but making sure that they get here, because some of them look a little young to drive. So I would assume that's probably why you are here. So we'll be introducing them here in just a moment. You did hear of the passing of Mike Craybill. I just got to meet him at at my pets meeting for training. Actually sat right beside him. And one of the last things that Mike Craybill did in our regard was he did help us to get our grant and got all of that paperwork done for the thermal imaging that we'll be donating here to the fire station here just a little bit later this year. So you never know. And when I got the email, I went, oh. And at that moment, really, he seemed pretty good. I knew he had some things going on. But so continue to remember their family. We appreciate each one of you being here. So our theme for the year is from our Rotary International president is each one bring one. I added to that, each one drink one. So find your drink and cheers. Somebody said, man, are you going to do that every meeting? Yes, I am. What was that? I missed it.
It's more fun in the evening.
Yeah, right. Well, and water just doesn't, I get it. So it's interesting. One of some of you may have seen this logo. It's on the front of my notebook. We've had it various places and it's been posted various places. It's served to change lives. It's actually the international theme. And we just got an email, maybe you received it as well, from our Rotary International president. And this is one of the things that he had to say about that. Service is at the heart of all of our connection to Rotary. That's why we want all of us to showcase Rotary's good works by hosting Rotary Days of Service. So we're going to be inviting our neighbors, our members, clubs, local civic organizations, program alumni, friends, family, and even some of our enemies, I added that, and the public to join us for this community service event. We're going to be talking more about that. That's part of this each one drink one. I added that to it because somehow or another, when a beverage is involved, we become connected. Oh, don't act like church people or stuffy. I'll say it that way. I come from a strong Pentecostal background, so I can say things like that. But I found that as we visit with one another, it can be over a Pepsi, an iced tea, a Mountain Dew, or the adult beverage of your choice. But that's how that we connect. So these Rotary Days of Service and that celebration will be a time where we get to share that with all of these different other groups. And can I challenge you to reach out to those people that are involved in other community organizations, invite them to Rotary, because it's very important. Because if you want to find somebody that's ready to work, find somebody that's already busy. You think that's silly, but it's true. You go around this room, I could go around this room and I could start rattling off the different hats that the Rotary members in this room, and probably Boy Scout leaders and everybody else, the different hats you wear, and there are a lot of them. Takes a big hat rack.
Who told me that and taught me that was George Connor.
There you go.
Because if you're busy and you have a job, you don't have time to screw around.
Right.
So you just get it done because you got to keep moving.
Busy people. Busy people get things done. And so I challenge you to reach out, and that's one of the way that we all can serve to change lives. Here's something that happened Saturday night that I wanted to share with you firsthand, because in our service to change the lives of other people, how many of you remember us being involved in donating to the Jaws of Life here? Do you remember that? It hadn't been all that long ago. 3-4 years ago, I think we bought an $1,800 one, something like that. You can go out here, it's sitting on the truck, I can show it to you. Thought about getting a Rotary sticker and sticking it on it. I haven't done that yet. But so I'm at the demo derby on Saturday night. I personally had sponsored a car. My car gets out there and he's just ramrodding and going all over the place. And some of you know him, Wes Martin. It's public knowledge, so everybody knows that. And about 5, 6, 7 hits into the program, he slumps over in the seat, and they stop the race. Actually slumped back, and he's about 6'4", 6'5", and about 280, somewhere right up there. Pretty good sized boy. And so they stopped the race, and of course everybody comes out. There's a moment of panic because it was clearly obvious he was out. And out come, and I got a little choked up, and the guy that was sitting next to me said, "Man, what's wrong with you?" I said, "Well, first of all, Wes is my friend. B, my company name's on that car. That makes me a little nervous. And C, coming across the field was one of those Jaws of Life machines where they popped the top off that car, slid the board down in there, pulled Wes out. He's okay." And I got a little choked up about that because I'm like, on every level of life, you never know when. And so I wanted to commend you especially about that because that's how we serve to change lives right there. We never know when something like that's going to be needed. So that was pretty, I don't know, kind of rocked my world for a moment or two. So thank you for all that you do on that note. I'm going to introduce the introducer of our speaker today, and I was told that this is my opportunity to get even with him for all of the things that he has done to me. I do not have an hour, so I will try to keep this very simple. We have supported the Boy Scouts for a long time. They're going to talk about that. There's a lot of them here. We're recording this. It's going to go live later if it's not already. I'm not really sure we're live today. So no mistakes, anybody. Good luck with that. But I do appreciate, I'm going to refer to him as Dr. John Ayler because he is obviously a doctor and a dentist in our community and has been in Rotary how many years, John?
24.
24 years, has a long history, second generation. We've working on a couple of his boys that are going to get back hooked up with us. I know they're wanting to do that as well and have been in. And 24 years has served us at the local level as our own club president. If anybody needs some help, you can ask John to do it. More than likely, he's going to be somewhere else whenever that the actual time happens. He was at the pork burger station 2 years ago cooking pork burgers, and then he was not. And that's about as easy. So I found him later bidding on some hogs or something over. Anyway, he let me know what he was doing, but I've always given him a hard time about that. John, would you come introduce all our guests today? Let's give John a round of applause. That's all I got.
I'm going to try to be brief.
I know.
Our speaker today that I know of has at least two things in common with this club. Her service to scouting goes back decades. To be honest, and probably be polite, our club goes, I know, over half a century. When we moved here, my family in 1970, Rotary was sponsoring the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts back then. And they have done so faithfully every single year as our chartered member. And without Rotary helping us, we have had some tough times too in scouting. And they've always come through for us. And we've tried to return that same favor, most recently through the pork burgers. But The young men that are with us here this morning, we have about 12 active members in our troop, at least a dozen leaders in our troop. Jeff, who's in the back, is the Cub Master of 3155. Mike Manis, who's with us, an attorney living in town but over in Goodland, is also an assistant scoutmaster. And we have a huge history. Our troop goes back to 1932. So we're proud to be here, and I know the Cub Scouts are as well. Jennifer is going to speak to us about where the Boy Scouts are today. The second thing that she has in common with our club, one is the years of service. The other one is that she's a Rotarian over in Logansport. So she's just recently joined. So you get credit for coming to a Rotary meeting, coming over. But without further ado, Jennifer.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. As John said, my name is Jennifer Vandenberg, and I'll make one real big slight confession. In a previous life, I used to be an economics instructor for Ivy Tech, so I'll try to keep this short. Okay, but I can't promise I won't wave my hands around because economists, they got to talk about the curves moving. But my name is Jennifer Vandenberg. I am the district executive for the North Star District of the Sagamore Council. Boy Scouts of America is a volunteer operated and governed organization. Council staff is here to keep everybody singing off the same songbook and to gather and organize resources for the volunteers so that they can get about doing the work of scouting. My background, real quick, is that I've been a volunteer of scouting since, I'm guessing about 13 years. My oldest is 20, and he joined as a first grader. I come from a scouting family, so it's all been in the language of my parents' household for a long, long time. So when we talk about Boy Scouting, lately, we've had a lot of fun news, particularly the second item with the bankruptcy. And if you have questions, we can talk about those things. But we've had a lot of really great successes. We opened our organization to girls at the Cub Scouting and troop levels a few years ago. Our venturing and explorer programs have always been co-ed. So it's not like we've never served girls, but we are finally have enough time in the process for some of these young ladies to complete their Eagle rank, and so we're very proud of that. This young lady is Erica, and she actually worked on our summer camp staff as one of our archery instructors. We also continue to serve our young men. Also, we had a group of 6 Eagles have a joint court of honor earlier this year. So those are some of the fun successes. We also continue to function in the community. One thing that scouting is very involved with, although not exclusively, other organizations also get involved, is the Bethlehem Peace Light, which is a traveling light of hope. The original flame comes from the chapel in Bethlehem that is believed to be the site of Christ's birth. And it comes through Europe, through scouting organizations, and then crosses there's a whole story. So anyway, but we host a number of Peace Light opportunities for the community to come together and get their own light. We are expanding our Explorer program. This is something I'm really eager to get into. Explorer is our career exploration program, and the posts specialize in a specific career. We have a new post down in Lafayette for law enforcement. We continue to do our community service, and this is our council executive working with buddy bags. A number of our units get involved in the buddy bag programs across the council. We happen to help distribute the ones in Kokomo to the schools because we have a trailer and we're willing to help with it. Our units also do food drives. And so what is the BSA about? Our mission is to help prepare young people to make ethical and moral decisions throughout their lifetimes by teaching them about the values in the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. And so the Scout Law are those 12 points you hear about. A Scout is trustworthy, a Scout is this or that. The thing that I like to point out is the order of priority on the Scout Oath. there's 3 groups of people involved: God and country, other people, and then finally the scout, him or herself. That prioritization is intentional. And so I'm here to talk to you about what scouting is and what we're doing. We have lots of fun. We've continued to hold activities like the Pinewood Derby. We teach these values through physical fitness. We have an annual bike ride that happens that directly funds Camp Buffalo. And it is coming up. You too can participate if you're a cyclist. Get kids outside is really important. Getting involved with community service, whether that's clearing brush, conservation projects, continue to be a popular activity for Scouts, partly because it's an accessible activity for young Scouts in particular, along with getting involved with food drives, delivering popcorn to as donations to those who serve us, and of course doing things like placing flags on graves for Memorial Day. We continue to try to teach citizenship. We do everything we can to help our young people understand the importance of what being a good citizen is about. A number of units help with flag retirement, and right now the Eagle requirement includes 3 citizenship badges out of the 29 required Eagle badges. We always emphasize that there needs to be a spiritual aspect to a complete person. And therefore, at every level of the organization, there is a duty to God aspect. If you go into the Cubs, even down at the Cub Scout level, they have some requirement that every year that addresses some aspect of understanding their personal faith. It does not endorse a specific faith. We have Scouts that are of all faith professions, but we do believe in encouraging that aspect of the complete person. It's popcorn sale time, and what you see here, this fun little activity, I actually end up being one of the targets for this. Somebody came up with the bright idea of rewarding kids by allowing our top sellers to hit the adults with plates of whipped cream. I actually 2 years ago told them if they hit the goal, they all could get me. And so I took about 30 pies in the face. I walked in with a snorkel and a set of goggles because I like my nose the way it is, but they had a ball. So camping continues to be part of our tradition. We held a number of day camp activities over the summer for our cubbies, and we ran 4 full weeks of Scouts BSA camp out at Camp Buffalo this summer. We encourage all sorts of what we call adventure learning, going to or bringing the adventure to them. As a Cub Master myself, I've brought in our canine units to come in and talk to our kids. I have some friends whose kids do midget racing, and so I had them come in and talk about racing. It's about having fun. So when I work with Scout leaders and help them learn how to organize their thoughts, I tell them that it's a 3-legged stool. A successful program has 3 legs to it. There's the advancement. That's where we talk about completing rank, required activities. Sounds like exciting stuff. But often it's adventures in a specific topic, or doing merit badges, or learning specific skills. But that's not going to work if it's not any fun. And so we make sure that it is fun. These are cardboard boats from the looks of things. I wasn't part of this event, but those are definitely cardboard boats. And if you put paintballs into these wrist rockets, they make an amazing splat. So they're awesome. But then the third thing that we do is that we sneak in this 3rd leg, and that's the character development aspect. Whether it's talking about shooting sports, safety, good sportsmanship, service to others. We don't tell the kids we're teaching them this stuff that's called character, but it gets there. We teach them life skills. This is a first aid exercise here, fire starting, And there is actually an auto mechanics merit badge that teaches you basic automotive maintenance as just examples. There's also one on personal finance that they are required to do, and they manage a budget and plan their time and things like that. So how did, like all organizations in our communities, COVID hit us. We had charter organizations say that our units couldn't meet anymore, justifiably, that made sense. How did we respond? It was hard to get kids together, do things with them. We got very involved with Donate a Life as an organization. You'll see a lot of their material with our stuff. Last summer, we had been kind of struggling with what to do with day camp. This district is hard because it's 6 counties that go from Newton to Jasper, White and Pulaski, Fulton and Cass. Where do we hold a 4-day day camp that makes everybody happy? Well, we don't. And so COVID was a great opportunity for us to test a new model, and that was the day camp in the box. We developed the activities, boxed them up. Last year, it was, families doing them at home. This summer, we encouraged PACs to take those boxes and do a selection of them with the PAC as a group, since we could get together, do it outside, have them play some water games too. It's grand fun. We also had volunteers. She and her daughter things to provide service to others in the community. We had units get involved with doing Zoom meetings. A lot of troops found this to work. It's a little harder for Cub Scouts. One thing that flourished though is the virtual merit badge program. Across the country, there are people who are willing to offer parts of portions of the merit badge instruction that go with certain topics. And then there's usually, okay, now you need to go do these things at home, the hands-on aspects. And we have a Facebook page that has a huge following just for this council on that. University of Scouting is a twice-a-year event. In the fall, it's held at Purdue, and in the spring, it's held at IU Kokomo. And that, of course, went virtual. The last 2 have been virtual events. Again, in a way that we've had to adapt. But we made a point of making sure kids did stuff outside. This, and this, and this, for sure, are all from what we call day camp on the road. The one thing that we can't put in a box is shooting sports. And so, for sure, and the water games, but we could show them how to do the water games. So we pull in, we spend a couple hours with the kids. They have an opportunity to rotate through a handful of stations. But the big thing is that they do get the summer exposure to BB guns, archery, and slingshots, which is the highlight of any Cub Scout day camp experience. So they didn't have to give that up. We do have a 4-wheeler program, ATV program at Camp Buffalo, and that's a robot up in that upper corner. So the thing about it is that I chewed through myself ahead of my notes. There's a lot, oops, hit the button.
Bottom button should back up.
There we go. We do lots of things. We have traditional things we think scouting is, but if you think about when you go back in your brain to the mission statement, none of it says that you have to run Pinewood Derby cars. Nothing says you have to earn an eagle. The fact is that a single year in scouting makes a difference in the life of a youth. The military recognizes the value of the Eagle rank by giving a pay bump and a rank bump to an enlistee who is an Eagle. But they will tell us also that they can tell if an enlistee has been in scouting for a year or more because they behave differently. Like Scouting, Rotary is an organization that values reinvestment in the local community. You all do things, we all do things. I'm a Rotarian, I guess I should say we. We do things that are about giving back and recognizing that we're part of something bigger than just ourselves. And the only way we will continue to have a society that does that is if we continue to teach that to our young people. There's lots of opportunities to learn that. Scouting is one that has a specific mission of doing that. And so they do it in the midst of, they learn all this stuff while they're roasting marshmallows and climbing rocks and tying knots and learning first aid. Like I said, we sneak the character development in. So, something that we have done, oh come on, let me have it back please. There we go. We established the Scouting Hero Badge. You can nominate somebody to be as a Scouting Hero. It could be somebody that's done something for your Scouting group, but it could be somebody who's just doing something for the community. We as Scouts want to recognize those people who've gone, you feel have gone above and beyond or done service for us. Whether we've got some moms that work in nursing homes that are part of our unit, the troop that we are part of. I did it again, didn't I? I'll bring it back if you need it. And so it's an opportunity. If you send a nomination in, we will tell them that they've been recognized and send them that patch. We've been doing things in particular this year with Donate Life. We've been teaching the kids that went to camp about blood and organ donation. And we made a point of we revamped our medical lodge at Camp Buffalo, and they made a point of learning first aid merit badge at camp this year. Big event that we cannot read. In mid-September, we are holding our treasure hunt. It's down at Cary Camp. I don't know if the press got to you all a couple of years ago. We had an adult Easter egg hunt at Cary Camp, and it was such a success, it was almost a disaster. We allowed people to buy tickets at the gate, and we had traffic backed up on State Road 26. The Sheriff's Department was unhappy with us. But the people who came had a grand time, so we have expanded it to 2 nights, only pre-sale tickets, and a little bit addressed some other issues that we ran into. We had a great event, we learned a lot, and we are adapting because that's how you do things. So mark your calendars, it's September 17th and 18th. This is my reason for doing all of this. I've only been a DE since January, but like I said, I've been in scouting for a long time. And every scout family has a story, right? This young man is my son Ben. He is going to be a sophomore at Purdue. And then Josh, and he made Eagle. Josh is going to be a junior at Lewis Cass. And Samuel here is going to be a 5th grader at Lewis Cass. Josh is a Life Scout. If he doesn't get started on his Eagle project soon, we're going to have words. Because that's the role of mothers in that case. And Samuel will be finishing his Cub Scout career in February and crossing over into the troop. But there's a special story about Ben here. Ben is visually impaired. And the beauty of organizations like Scouting is it allows us to put Ben out there and try things. And if he failed, okay. The thing about Scouting skills is that I suppose an adult could come in and tie a knot for a kid or do first aid for a kid, but to earn the checkbox, they have to demonstrate the skill. And so there's a lot more fail and relearn aspect to a lot of what we do in Scouting. But he went out and did things, and we didn't always go along. And that's part of what is involved with Scouting. We need our adult volunteers, but not every adult volunteer has to be the Scoutmaster or the den leader. And so one of the reasons that we were able to take Ben to school and say, go find your classes and all those things is because we did things like Scouting. And that's true whether you can see really well or not at all. But Ben's a great case study of why Scouting can work so well. So, can't stand here and not ask you to do something for Scouting, right? There's lots of opportunities to be helpful for Scouting, and it's not always what you see up front. You can volunteer as an adult to be involved with your Scouting either at a unit level, which is local. The district leadership, there's a committee that oversees what goes on for that 6-county district. If you've got a skill set, you could be a merit badge counselor. We always need people with specific skills. Right now, we are always having to find people to cover shooting sports. We have people trained, but you have to have a deep, deep bench so that you can have somebody to be the Cub range master on a specific day. And so we are always looking for folks that are willing to do those things. Recruiting is happening right now. It's just getting started. If you know folks that have kids that are kindergarten through 5th grade, Cub Scouts is open to everyone. And of course you can join a troop at any time also. Popcorn sales will be starting soon. And that's our main fundraiser. It's the main fundraiser for the council as a whole. A third of the funds, roughly, that are part of the sale go directly to the unit that's selling the popcorn. A third goes to the council, and that money is used to do things like maintain our camps and offer our programs. The day camp on the road, the day camp in a box, the University of Scouting events, all those things have to be provided. And caramel corn is amazing, so there's your reason right there. So we are always running a donation campaign we call Friends of Scouting. And if you have a local United Way, and I don't know that there's one in Jasper County, but United Way has long been a partner for Scouting. And so if you do have a United Way campaign in your community, I encourage you to support them also. I have pledge forms. I always have pledge forms for Friends of Scouting, but you can also donate that way. I think I'm hitting my time target too. Does anybody have any questions for me? Actually, I'd rather have a conversation than stand here and talk the whole time, but questions?
I will say, as I mentioned earlier, the community has been very supportive on many levels. There's many people in this room sitting behind me that have totally made it happen. And last year you talked about COVID. We were one of the few troops that actually had a summer camp because we have the luxury of 22 acres of woods, Camp Caney. So we don't meet in the church basement or, you know, a library. And I understand sometimes there's no choice, but we didn't have that. And so we had fire department and police department, and we had teachers and people that were totally willing to come out and help us out with merit badges and do things and help the boys advance. And it was a very successful thing. It was great. I think the first time we'd ever tried something like that as a troop. But there's a lot of strength in your community, and the pandemic helped us find it, you know, because people were looking for things to do. Like you were talking about the Easter egg hunt. People were looking to get out. They were looking to go places and do things.
Yep. Yep.
So it's been awesome.
Anybody? Jennifer, a big hand. Thank you for all the
Thank you for
information.
having me.
Fred?
Sorry I came in late, Jennifer, but I do have a couple questions for you.
Yes, sir.
First one is, who invited you today
John
to
Ayler.
speak? John Ayler, okay. Did John invite you to speak?
Yes.
Okay.
I might have told him I was looking for opportunities to speak, yes.
No, that's absolutely fine. And you said part of the camping is fire starting, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. John, did you vet our speaker today about speaking about fire starting, coming to a fire station today?
I told her that we met at a fire station. And there's only one fire station in town.
So the answer is no.
So something happened
The answer
here.
is
The fire department's pretty good too, aren't they?
They're awesome. They're fantastic. Where would we be without our fire department?
Nice.
We
Probably
have more chickens.
You'd have more chickens.
Okay. And I have to mention, because it is true, and you come back to this, you can fast. That whole thing, my poultry house caught on fire, and I tried very hard to keep
I
it
knew where
out.
that was going.
Facebook, I made the front page. Local Scoutmaster catches chicken house on fire.
Kentucky
And it
Fried
happened
Chicken.
on Ash Wednesday. It did. I can't make it up. That's funny.
Oh, two, beautiful weather today. Anybody driving convertible to the meeting today?
Have my windows down, does that count?
Ned, what's that?
Have my windows down, does that count?
That's right, true convertible.
No,
Ned, that'll be
pay your top was
enjoy the
fine.
weather tax.
Well, did you sponsor a convertible now?
Yes. It's now convertible.
It's now convertible.
But you didn't
Alright.
drive it.
You did.
No, I didn't drive it.
One more. Anybody, any Rotarian here that did not work at the fair?
Oh my. Oh, Busted twice.
Twice a dollar. Matt, you didn't work at the fair.
I love that.
Double dipping, I like it.
Gee. How did that, was it work related or
Oh,
vacation?
no, it was vacation.
Oh, so, well, I guess I'll take that for a vacation.
Did you stay on your bicycle this
I
time?
did,
Okay.
no broken bones.
Birthdays or anniversaries this month?
What?
I got one of those too.
Trifecta.
I'm not gonna be able to eat
I'll you $1 sometime.
There you go.
Birthday or anniversary?
Birthday.
Okay, and Sue, birthday or anniversary?
Birthday.
Well, happy birthday to both of you.
I have anniversary. 29 coming up.
Yeah. All right, so
All with the same woman.
31 years now? Yeah. Poor girl.
I don't know how she does it.
I don't know how Mary Beth does it, good boy.
All right, y'all stand in. Jennifer, if you wanna draw a ticket for the, see to who gets to draw the Queen of Hearts.
Alright.
Somewhere right around $50. I gotta tell you.
41.55.
41.55.
Anyone? You?
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Queen of Hearts, somewhere around $50, I believe.
Darn it.
You can buy the Queen of Hearts again. Should be a
Thank you, Fred. Appreciate it. Real quickly, we'll go through a couple things. I'd like to do something by general consensus. I come across this information just last week or last meeting. Actually, Ned shared it with us. My understanding is that George Tanner is the one that kind of brought that 50-50 thing to us. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. From here on out, I would like to proclaim that as the George Tanner Fund that comes from the pig, and all that money gets donated in his name, if that is okay with everyone else.
That sounds great.
Sounds awesome.
Anybody opposed? Let it be written. Let it be done. Thank you, Ned.
Remember,
I wanted to, well, this, at the current time, the money from the 50-50 will go to the Heart to Heart Palate Cleft program. They're all in there. They're just not in order for this particular round. So I think normally we do foundation. We've covered that other ways, so that we'll make sure that money gets counted and put in that place. I wanted to be able to do that.
If I could just tag on that, for those
Sure.
who don't know, the very first Queen of Hearts that we had went down to the last week. All 51 other cards had been chosen, so
Wow.
whoever drew that week was gonna get the Queen of Hearts.
No matter what.
It ran the whole deck the first
Wow,
time around.
that's pretty cool. The last one that,
$100 and some dollars.
yeah, the last one, Orville Perry won. I think we had only like 4 cards left. I mean, it was down.
400 or something.
Yeah, and it was like $400, so it had been a pretty good one, been along the way. Real quickly, pork burger sales, $22,000 gross for the year, absolute record. We're 6,000 or 8,000, way over wherever we've ever been that I am aware of. We've never turned that kind of gross sales that I'm aware of at all. Excited about that. We've got 3 or 4 more big days ahead of us. We're in the process of buying pigs and getting more pork done, and we've ran out of everything, including pickles and napkins. So and had to repurchase stuff. So I appreciate, and you guys have seen my email. Lots of clubs have been involved with that. So it's going to be an exciting year. Mike's head spinning a little bit about how we're going to start putting some of this money to work. We're going to be able to do some things this year that we haven't been able to do in the past, and thankfully recoup from last year as well. We'll be talking some more about that. The t-shirts are in. They're in the back of the pork burger trailer if you want to go over and get them, because I forgot them. The back to school program. Shouldn't have read that one. The back to school program. Sue is in charge of this Friday, setting up at Brookside at 11 o'clock in the morning. You still need help?
I need help. If somebody could help, even come for an hour or 2 in the afternoon, so I had a little break in there.
All right.
It gets real hot.
11 to 4, I believe is the...
It's either 4 or 4:30.
So right in there, we'll have a tent set up and those kind of things. And so get with her today, and I'll be putting out another plea in an email so we'll stay in touch and let me know. I'll be there some as well myself. Jasper John is this Saturday. See Tori Fagley. She wasn't able to be here today. That's kind of a cool, we partnered with them both on the Rotary level and some of you in your business as well. So that's going to be a cool county thing. Our next meeting's at Fenwick Farms. On the 24th is our social spotlight this month. If you are interested in hosting that at your home or your business, see me right away. If not, I will seek you out. Check your email. You got new calendars and some more information. So I want to again remind you that you have an opportunity to spend 8 fun-filled days with me in Mexico in November. So we are planning on doing that. I would certainly love to room with either Dean or Matt. That would be fun. Anyway, so register for Rotary International. It's in Houston, Texas in June, and I'm done. If you'll stand, did I miss anything? Anybody else? Stand with me for the 4-way test. To your left. First of all, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a good afternoon.